Mhm.
The Wi-Fi is good. So you mentioned you're in Austin. Have you lived there your whole life?
No, so I just moved from Atlanta earlier this
Okay.
month. So yeah.
Okay, cool. And have you been like an athlete your whole life?
Yeah, so growing up I played football. That was like my main sport. And I was gonna play it
Oh,
in
nice.
college, but then I got two concussions my senior year. So
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, I don't want to put my body through that. And so I was like, okay, I need something else to do. And then I saw a YouTube video on an Ironman. It was actually Lionel Sanders, one of his YouTube videos. It just popped up in my recommended. I was like, that looks sick.
Okay.
That's what I want to do. So
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
it. I guess it's all
And
been
so that's how
history
it
since
started.
then. Go ahead.
So that's how it started.
Yep. Yeah.
Just off of a YouTube video, and you just
Yeah.
decided to
Yeah,
look
it
for
was
it.
just something about like his demeanor, his just passion for it. I was like, this looks pretty awesome. So yeah.
Okay. And so then after, like, what were the days, weeks, months after that, watching that video? Like, did you get out that day and start running? Did you start biking? Like, what was the process after that?
Yeah, so I saw the video and then about 2 hours later I decided to sign up for a sprint triathlon like a few months down the road. Um
Okay, cool.
just off the whim because I just wanted again something else to do. I was like,
Yeah.
okay, like this could be it. So yeah, that's kind of how that happened. And then training for it, I had no idea what I was doing. I didn't even know you could like properly train for it. I did like two bike rides, a few swims, and my longest run before it was like 2 miles. And then I just showed up on race day and somehow crossed the finish line.
Oh, really? So you completed it. Do you remember your time for that?
Yeah, so it was about 1 hour and 29 minutes, I want to say. So
Oh, I mean, that seems like a pretty good time.
yeah, I was happy with it. I mean, again, I didn't like train or know what I was doing at all. So I do have a
And
little bit of a swimming background. I swam like in my neighborhood club team growing up. So
okay.
that was just 1 month during the summer every year. So that's kind of what I attribute to having a little bit of a swim background. Um, and then obviously I played football in high school, so I could run. I wasn't like fast, or I didn't really have too much endurance, but I could run. So it's just the biking that
Yeah.
really sucked.
Yeah. So I mean, you had some athletic background with the swimming.
Mhm.
You know, that definitely. I mean, would you say the swimming would be the hardest part to master if you're going in completely from zero?
Yes, 100%. Yeah, because there's just a different type of relationship with the water you have to have, and it takes years and years to master it. And even like I've been swimming like 5 times a week for over 3 years now, and I'm still improving little things with my stroke. So yeah,
Really?
yeah.
That's yes. Yeah. My first impression was the swimming would be the most difficult part,
Mhm.
physically and with the technique as well, because of, like you said, you can fine tune it, to such a small degree. But no, that's awesome. And so after that sprint triathlon, did you did you kind of take the same approach? Did you sign up for another one and then kind of just wing it, or did you start like researching? Did you get a coach? Like, what were your next steps after that?
Yeah, so after that sprint triathlon, I was like, I like really suffered on the run. So I was like, man, like I need to get better at running. So I signed up for a half
Mhm.
marathon later on in that year. And again, I didn't know anything about like training or coaching or how you're supposed to like split up your training with easy runs and then hard runs. So I went out and did every
Mhm.
single run at my goal race pace, which was 8 minutes flat. Um, and so
Yeah,
I did that for 3 months, and somehow, like, I still finished like the half marathon at that pace, but like it was not pretty, man. It was pretty
really.
brutal. But yeah, and then I
And so
got
how's your training changed then?
yeah. So after that, like it was November, so there are no more races for the rest of the year. And then one of my
Okay.
friends told me like, "Hey, like, I think we should talk about like your training. And I was like, what is there to talk about? Like, so like just like closed minded, like I wasn't open to like anybody else's like opinions and stuff like that. But then I just heard him out and I was like, oh, like maybe that does make sense. Like taking some of the run or a lot of the runs like easier and not feeling like I'm gonna like die every single run. Like there might be something
Yeah.
there. So yeah.
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 And so was he the person that kind of helped you kind I guess maintain a more I guess maintainable training regimen
Yeah.
or sustainable, I guess is a
Yeah,
better word.
he definitely opened up my eyes, number one. And then also, I started following a lot more people on Instagram. And that also helped out a lot too, just having a community there. Because
Yeah.
I didn't know what I was doing, I was all by myself. And then I was like, oh, like other people are doing this too. Let me see what they're doing. I'm like, oh, it's not what I'm doing at all. So, yeah.
Do you think that you had any benefit from kind of, jumping in as a beginner without any guidance and then kind of adjusting your training? Or do you think that it was a mistake from the beginning?
Yeah, so kind of looking back on it, obviously I wish I didn't train like that, but I feel like I needed to learn those lessons in order to kind of train the way I do now. A lot smarter,
Mhm.
with a goal oriented in mind. So yeah, I feel like it's like everybody goes through something like that when they first start
Yeah.
training. Like, what was I doing? But it's definitely a big learning lesson and something you can take from down the road. So
Yeah, awesome. And so now you said you were when did you start? What year did you start doing the triathlons? Like, what year was the sprint
yeah, so that
triathlon
was
you did?
2019.
Okay, so then you did it. This is what your fourth year now
Yeah,
going on.
yeah, about so
Okay.
after that 2019 season, so after that half marathon, I signed up for an Olympic triathlon in
Okay.
2020. But then obviously COVID hit and wiped out every race there was. So I pretty much
Yeah.
didn't really do too much training during 2020, just because there wasn't like that much going on. I wasn't too motivated. So yeah.
Okay. And so, what was your most recent race then?
Um, my most recent one was Ironman 70.3 Augusta back in 2022.
Okay.
But at the end of
Okay.
2020, um, the races started picking back up, and I was like, okay, like I need something to do. So I decided to sign up
Yeah.
for my first Ironman 70.3. I did that one in Gulf Coast, Florida, or Panama City
Okay. And
Beach.
so, what month was that? What month was that in?
That was
Because
in
the weather must be brutal.
Yeah, so I signed up for that one like in December of 2020, but the race wasn't until May 2021. So I had a nice 6 month training block there.
Okay, so you were, I guess Austin and even Atlanta as well are hot enough. So I'm just thinking like the temperature must have been such a challenge.
Yeah. So thankfully it was like very early May, so it wasn't like stupid hot in Florida at that point.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
I mean it was definitely a
yeah.
little bit warmer, but yeah, the heat hadn't like
It wasn't too
it
bad.
wasn't like fully summer yet. So
Okay, so you were able to manage it, I guess.
mhm.
Um, and so yeah, like I just want to talk a little bit about some of your routines, I guess, or I guess I think something that people would take value from is how do you set up an individual training week or training day,
Mhm.
based on if you're training for an upcoming event or if you're in like a maintenance phase. So like for you now, are you training for anything right now?
Yeah, I have an Olympic in about a month now, so we're 4 weeks out.
Okay, and so how I guess on the curve
Mhm.
uh, of your training schedule, are you at the peak? Are you like coming down? Are you on your way up to the
Yeah,
peak? Like where are you?
yeah, that's a great question. So, I started my build for this Olympic race. back in January. So, and that was like coming off season. So like I wasn't really fit at all. So it took me like a few weeks to kind of get back into the swing of things, just get like base fitness back. And then
Okay.
I've been on a 8 or 6 week build now. And that ended actually on Sunday. So now I'm on a deload week to allow my body to kind of recover and absorb all that training. I'm also doing a little bit of like retesting. So I just did my FTP test this morning, and then I have a 5K and a swim test later on in the week. And then next week I have, or my final 3 week block begins. And then that's just going to be like the most volume, the most intensity to really sharpen my skills for the race day. And then, of course, a taper.
Okay. Yeah. And so the whole process, would you say, takes about 2 to 3 months, roughly?
Yeah. So I'd say coming off the off season, it does take a little bit longer to get all that kind of fitness back. And it depends on the distance too. So if I was doing like a full Ironman, like I signed up for a full Ironman in Florida, it's going to be in November. I'm doing a 5 month training block for that. So
Okay.
yeah, and that's going to
Okay.
begin
And
in
so,
June.
okay, so it really just depends on what event you're
Yeah,
doing, I guess.
yeah.
Okay. And so how long would you give yourself to taper before the race?
Before this Olympic, I'm gonna do like just the races on a Saturday, so I'll start on that Monday. So about like 6 days, about a week is a typical
About a
taper.
week, okay.
Yeah. Um,
And so for the 5 month training block, would you do the same?
yeah. So of course, like in between, the like or during that 5 month training block, that you have like down weeks and stuff like that to allow your body to recover and flush out all that fatigue. Um, but I'll probably do like at least like a 10-day taper, if not a 2 week taper, to really allow my body to
Okay,
be
wow.
primed for the race day, because that's all that matters, really.
Yeah, really. It doesn't matter what your training times are at that point.
Yeah, exactly. Like you can't get any more fit
So,
in that little 2 week
yeah,
period. So,
no, for real. Yeah, it's just in a maintenance and
mhm.
recovery phase there. Um, and so how do you kind of set up your weeks now? Like what does a week look like for you?
Yeah. So pretty much, Monday is typically a recovery day. So I'm doing just a easy recovery swim. Nothing like too intense or anything like that. Really form focused. And then a mobility session in the gym. So just trying to like move my body, because normally I'm pretty sore from the weekend before. Tuesdays,
Okay.
yeah, Tuesday is typically a hard bike, and then a strength session in the gym. So I have to go lift after this, and I already did my hard bike. So yeah, that's that.
Okay.
And then Wednesday's a hard run, and then another swim. The swim's normally like tempo stuff, so nothing too hard, but nothing too easy. Thursday is normally like a brick, so a bike then run. And that can vary from like a 2 hour ride into a 30-minute run, from like a like hour ride into a little bit longer run. So like a 7 mile
Mm,
run or something. And then Friday's a little bit of a down day, so like an easy bike and a hard swim. And then Saturday kicks off the big weekend. So normally a long bike and then a run off. And then I try and go open water swim on Saturdays too, just to get that practice in for the
oh,
race. And then Sundays a long run and a lot of stretching and maybe like an easy bike in there. So
okay.
yeah,
And so how much do you would have to adjust on a normal week? Like if you're waking up maybe on a Tuesday, Wednesday really sore, maybe not Tuesday, but maybe like a Wednesday,
hmm
Thursday really sore, do you push through it or are you kind of taking your body into account and like adjusting
yeah.
the day
So
off that?
I'm a big believer in listening to your body. So I will definitely adjust the intensity of the work that I'm doing. Um, and then if I'm just like feeling like terrible, I just might skip a session, like it happens.
Yeah.
Um, so like I've tried to push my body through like days where I just feel terrible, and normally it just puts yourself into like a bigger hole. So I've learned for
Yeah.
me, it's better just to listen to your body and drop the intensity a little bit.
Yeah, 100%. Like you just, I mean, if you push through it too much, I feel like you said, it just puts you in a deeper hole to get out of.
Exactly.
I like the approach of like listening to your body and, knowing when to push through it and when to kind of pull back is really important when you're
Mhm.
training. Um, do you monitor any of your, like, do you have like a Whoop strap or like a watch or something like that, or
Yeah,
or a
I
ring?
just look at my Garmin. It,
Okay.
like I sleep with it, so it tells me like my resting heart rate variability or my HRV, my resting heart rate, like how much sleep I got, stuff like that. So,
Okay. And so, I mean, those are super helpful in terms of sleep, especially, I
mhm.
find. Um, but how much do you think about like nutrition and that side of things?
Yeah, so I'm obviously like if you're not fueling right, you're not going to be able to perform at your best. So I have been a big believer in the like 90 to 100 grams of carbs per hour rule. If you're doing anything over like 90 minutes, I definitely always try and supplement with some type of nutrition. Um, no, I
Okay.
found that my gut is pretty particular on the stuff that I intake during a ride. So I personally use salted watermelon flavored goos and Morin. So yeah.
Okay. And so that's for the intra
Mhm.
training or
Yeah.
race day. And so how do you approach fueling up before the day before a race?
Mhm.
Like what does that look like? Are you focused on specific things or foods or even hydration or what's that kind of process look like for you?
Yeah. So a few days before, or probably 2 days before the race, I'll start adding a lot more carbs into my diet. So that's like pasta, pizza. I'm a big pizza guy, so I'll definitely have a few like multiple pizzas. Um,
Okay.
and then I like Pedialyte a lot. The day before the race,
Okay.
um, just to get those
Yeah.
electrolytes in, everything like that. So
Okay. And so you
mm. I also use Tailwind. I forgot to mention that, but yeah, Tailwind. That's like my liquid. Like it's a powder mix, so you just put in your bottles. Oh, you're good. Okay. Can we hop on like another call? No, you're all good. Yeah, for sure. Definitely. Dang. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. No, I'm definitely down to talk again for sure. It's like April 29th, I want to say, that weekend. Last weekend. Yeah. So not that one's back in Atlanta. So I'm gonna go home and like visit my family and stuff and then race. Yeah. So um I didn't like I know it happened. I don't know like who won or anything like that. Eventually, not right now, just because I think I'm in a good groove of like training because traveling puts a very big like dent into all your plans and everything. So yeah, yeah. Yeah. All right. Awesome. All right. Sounds good. Yeah. Have a good one.